All right, we will be talking today about, I'll look at the camera here and talk to you. We're going to be talking about the beauties of parallel structure. So, parallel structure means, as it says here, using the same pattern of words to show that two or more ideas have the same level of importance, that you are looking at two or more words, phrases, clauses that are equal to one another. So we can see this with words, we can see this with phrases, and we can see this with clauses. And you might have remembered words, phrases, and clauses connected with our fanboys, those coordinating conjunctions. And parallel structure is about coordinating like ideas in a series so they have equal weight. And they're structured the same way. It's all about structure, how they're put together. So let's look at some examples. Words and phrases. Incorrect would be Mary likes hiking, she likes swimming, and to ride a bicycle. We have ing, and then to ride. So we take the participle hiking, swimming, and riding a bicycle as opposed to ride a bicycle, and easily corrected. Look at another example. Incorrect. The production manager was asked to write his report quickly, accurately, and in a detailed manner. Now that doesn't sound all that bad. It's not as bad as the first one, but it's still not correct parallel structure. So we look at it, how can we correct it? The production manager was asked to write his report quickly, accurately, and thoroughly. We've set ourselves up one word, ly, so we need one word with ly to keep that. And generally, you usually use the first, whatever the first or second one is what you follow, but not always. And this is an example here. Angry ants munched the marshmallows, crumbling coffee cake, and sipping syrup, headed off across the countertop. Now, all three of these things tell us more about what the ants are doing. They're describing the ants. And remember that ing in a verb can also act as an adjective, and that's what we want. So instead, we would say angry ants munching marshmallows, crumbling coffee cake, and sipping syrup, headed off across the countertop, which is wonderful alliteration. But it also has that parallel structure, ing, ing, and ing. Now we can do this with clauses as well. Parallel structure that begins with clauses must continue on with that same clause. So if you're beginning a prepositional phrase or a clause of some kind, you want to continue on with that. So incorrect. The coach told the players that they should get a lot of sleep, that they should not eat too much, and to do some warm-up exercises before the game. And we can see over here in red, yes, that's wrong, that's incorrect. What would be far more correct would be that they should get a lot of sleep, that they should not eat too much, and that they should do some warm-up exercises. You can hear the repetition there. You can hear how we're giving equal weight to these clauses for each one of those, a clause. So we have, that they should, that they should, that they should, verb and subject, thus a clause. Lists after a colon. Incorrect. The dictionary can be used for these purposes, to find word meanings, pronunciations, correct spellings, and looking up irregular verbs. Why don't we just say to find word meanings, pronunciations, correct spellings, and irregular verbs right after that. Keep it simple. Let's look at a couple more other things to watch for. Parallel structures with pairs of words. So if you have like a pair of words, Granny's method was tried and true. This is that old phrase that you probably have never heard. Man proposes, God disposes. We want to have this parallel structure. Verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. You don't want to add anything in between this one because you don't have anything extra here. And we'll look at some examples that are close to this as well. Use those parallel structures when you're dealing with your fanboys to connect ideas. It's another thing to write down. Example, she possessed all of the wizard's charm, yet none of the wizard's insight. All of, none of, yet. Consult a doctor if your coughing persists, or if your coughing worsens over the weekend. Parallel structure connected with a fanboy. Correct sentences with improper parallel structure. Sabrina has wit, charm, and has an extremely pleasant personality. That sounds okay, but far better would be Sabrina has wit, charm, and a pleasing personality. She has this, and she has this, as opposed to putting in an adjective and also then putting in an adverb too, because we don't have those there. This is far closer to what we want. Let's continue on. In English class, Tashonda learned to read poems critically, and she appreciated good prose. Doesn't sound too bad, but again, could be more improved. In English class, Tashonda learned to read poems critically and appreciate good prose. Let's look back at that one. Rushing. To read poems, and you might even put to appreciate good prose. Might even make that stronger in its parallel structure. She learned to read and to appreciate. All right. Coach Espinoza was a brilliant strategist, a caring mentor, and friend. Coach Espinoza was a brilliant strategist, a caring mentor, and a wise friend. Adjective, noun, adjective, noun. We need another adjective before that noun since we've set up the structure beforehand. And let's look at last two. We thought the film repulsive, offensive, and we thought it was embarrassing. We found the film repulsive, offensive, and embarrassing. We have one adjective, so we just need one adjective. And lastly, Mr. Tran kept his store clean, neat, and he had it conveniently arranged. Mr. Tran kept his store clean, neat, and conveniently arranged. Far better. Adjective, adjective, adjective. Alrighty? And that is the end. Let me know if you have any questions.